Kale. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist in Boise, and I'm here to teach you about some of the equipment that you'll find at Sensory Place and how it can be used therapeutically for social development, for gross motor and fine motor skill development, and also to have lots of fun. Okay, so over here you'll find a rock wall, which could be used for all kinds of gross motor skills. It's also good for some fine motor because you have to, have the handholds on there. It's good for strategy and cognition because you have to think about where your next move is going to be. It can also be really good as a teamwork type activity, so following directions, maybe moving one space to the left or to the right. And there can also be kind of a visual component if you put little things, kind of set them on the different handholds and have the child try to look and scan and try to find what it is that they're looking for. Next to that, we're going to have one of these play structures, and this can be great for all kinds of things. You might have to help little ones at first make sure that they're safe and that you're spotting them, but this is really good for different input through the feet as they feel the different footholds. It's really good, again, for that strategy side of it, for climbing. That's really good for shoulder and core development, which then translates directly to fine motor skills. So a lot of times our kiddos are having trouble handwriting or developing the appropriate grasp, and really it's because they don't have the strength starting from their core and their shoulders. So any big body equipment like this is going to help build that. Okay, next we're going to move over to this little corner. This is kind of fine motor focused, but we can always adapt and grade those tasks up or down to have a gross motor component. So if your kiddo really likes some of the more intricate, detailed fine motor tasks, you can grab a therapy ball, you can grab, have them go up high on their knees, and that works with that core stability, it works with the hip stability. So for an activity like this, they could stand and do it, you could have them kneel and do it, you could have them balance on one foot and work on it, and all of those things are just kind of making it be a multi-sensory approach. So we're adding different components to a skill that motivates them, that they like to do. We've got puzzles and little kind of fine motor Lincoln logs and building type tasks over there, which are really good. Again, can be graded up or down. If your kiddo does have fine motor needs, you can have them lay on their tummy and support themselves up with their shoulders. That works on the back of the core, it works on shoulder strength, arm strength, and then also helps them have to balance on one arm or shift their weight in order to manipulate the small fine motor tasks. One of my favorite rooms. It's kind of a quiet corner, so sometimes new places, new equipment, new people can be overwhelming. I love that Sensory Place has this room here because it's a good spot where if you sense that your child is showing some of those signals, that they're overwhelmed, they're dysregulated, you can come in here. This can be a quiet, safe place. There's a great visual area for them to kind of look at if they just need to calm down. This is a great place to provide some of that deep pressure that you may have learned about, so the squeezes through the arms, through the legs. You could grab a therapy ball and do a steamroller in there, so roll them out with a therapy ball, and that just helps kind of calm down and give a safe place just to regulate and be ready for all the equipment that we have to offer. So this is another larger play structure, and what I love about the equipment that's in here is it's inside, it's in a safer environment. So a lot of times a park with a lot of screaming kids and loud chaos might be overwhelming for your child that might have sensory needs or special needs of any sort. And so this is a great place to start practicing getting that vestibular input on a swing or on a slide, climbing up ladders, engaging with other kids, but in a safe, known environment that's also inside. It's a little bit quieter, there's not bright sunlight. It's just a really good way to do that. And then this is also a great tool to start working on vestibular input with a slide because you can stand right up next to your kiddo. You can give them support through their core or through their trunk if they're a little bit sensitive to vestibular input and help guide them down, and eventually they'll accept that input more readily and hopefully be independently going down the slide. All right, now we have some of the most fun equipment here, and it's all of the swings. So swings are really great because they provide vestibular input. Vestibular input is kind of that motion, your body in motion. So even sometimes a child that is sensitive to vestibular input might go from crawling to standing and get dizzy and fall. Or they might go to pick something up off the ground and they get dizzy and fall. So we have to remember that vestibular input needs to be increased gradually. It's not a jump on and go as long as you can, and oftentimes when our vestibular system is overwhelmed, we will get dizzy, we will become white in the face, we will shut down, and we will get sick. So we want to avoid that. A lot of times people might think that a child that gets on a swing and is swinging really rapidly and curls up into a ball and falls asleep loves swinging, but that's actually a signal to us that our child's body is overwhelmed and they need something grounding. So we always want to sandwich vestibular input with a grounding activity or a proprioceptive task. That could just be bunny hopping to the swing. Hopping is really grounding for our bodies, and it really helps our bodies know where we're at in space. It helps regulate us, and it gets our bodies ready for the vestibular input. When we're engaging in vestibular input, we want to make sure that we're not spinning in one circle consistently and then just stopping. We want to balance the brain out by going both ways, and we also want to try to avoid a lot of orbital or rapid spinning if we can. Some children really seek that out, and they do okay with it. Their bodies respond well, but we still want to sandwich that with another proprioceptive or grounding task. So that could also be even bouncing on the swing can alert our bodies, getting off and jumping again, doing any type of the squeezes, proprioceptive, deep touch. It could be bear walks, that gives input. Think about anything that just feels grounding. So your body is pushing against the ground and knowing where it's at in space. Another way that we can kind of grade these tasks up or down, if a child is sensitive, we can give them input through their core, we can hold on to them and kind of help stabilize them until they understand just that linear movement, front and back or even side to side, but not crazy in circles. And then another way when kids start responding well to this input that we can challenge them is have them maybe lay on their tummy, change their position in space. Just changing our position gives a completely different vestibular experience. So if a child is having some handwriting difficulties or fine motor difficulties, again, we might have them lay on this swing, propped up on their tummy. We could place bean bags or something around and have them move their body to gather them. I've even seen children do really well with a little bit of movement while working on schoolwork or practicing writing, so encouraging your child to try it out in a new setting. And then also as a good body break. So if you are working on something that's more functional, more focus-based, giving them that opportunity, maybe set a 1-minute timer, have them come out and get some wiggles out and get some vestibular input, and then bunny hop back to the task that they're working on. And those little body breaks can make a huge difference. All right, so this is a great grounding corner. Any type of jumping, again, is going to alert our body and regulate us and ground us. So a lot of times kids that are seeking big regulation, they need those big movements. This might be the child that's always crashing into things, likes to be really close to you or loved ones, pushes up against you to figure out where their body is at in space. Any type of jumping like this is going to give their body the feedback it is seeking. We can start small, so this has a handle for smaller children, maybe a child that has some type of physical limitation, is unable to stand and balance on their own, or is unsafe jumping on their own. So that gives actually input through their arms as they're jumping, as well as their legs. Once they move up to a larger trampoline, they've got the feedback of the walls around them, of course safely and not trying to crash really hard into it, but still giving them that input that their body is looking for, and could be a great sandwich to jump for a while, swing, and then end with jumping again if that's something that they are motivated by. Okay, so another really fun thing that kids love is the zip line. The zip line seems like it'd just be a fun play-based activity, but actually it works on a lot of strength, a lot of timing, and a lot of just kind of overall balance and core stability. So this is going to be another one that's going to provide traction. So our bodies are regulated by proprioceptive input, which is often the pushing on our joints, so jumping, giving those deep pressure pushes, and traction is the opposite motion, so pulling, hanging, feeling your body decompress by almost being lengthened. And what's cool is there are opposing motions that actually provide the exact same input. So some kids provide one more than the other, but those are both good things to sandwich vestibular input or swinging with. So traction with the zip line is going to provide the child with the opportunity to hold their own body weight. Of course, beginning by supporting them at their hips if they're small enough, having them bend their knees and support at the bottom of their knees just so that they're safe, and also making sure that before the child tries something like this, you make sure you could bear their weight if you're helping them, because if they let go, we want to make sure we're staying safe. So once the child has graduated to the point of being able to do it independently, the zip line provides a really good opportunity to work on timing. So our bodies are constantly trying to navigate our environments, know how to kind of ebb and flow with things that we're experiencing. And with something like this, we've got the visual input of a blue cube that we're trying to jump into, and it's giving us the opportunity to really time ourselves when to let go. Again, we might let go too soon or too late, but those are opportunities to learn and grow from those. And then it also at the very end provides the opposing motion to the traction. When we fall into the pit and crash, we've got the proprioceptive input to help ground and regulate us.
Welcome to the Sensory Place. Now that you've had a chance to watch the video about how to utilize the equipment here, we wanted to give everyone a quick rundown of what to expect when they come into the Sensory Place. When you first arrive, we ask that everyone take off their shoes, adults included. Socks are encouraged but not required. We understand that some kiddos have a hard time with socks. When you come in, we give everyone the same daily spiel. It goes a little something like this. Before you go on back, we just like to let everyone know that the floor in the classroom and the floor by the trampoline can be a little slick with your socks on. It's really just that first step in, but we just like to warn everyone to be extra cautious in those areas. We do have a quiet room with a bubble tube, and adult supervision is required in there. Everything is adult-led and adult-supervised, so we just ask that you assist kiddos with any and all activities. We also don't have anywhere for adults to sit, so we do ask that adults don't utilize the equipment as seating or pull out chairs from that classroom area. We do have 4 bathrooms, 2 with changing tables and 1 with a toddler toilet if you need it. My name's Hannah, and whatever staff is here at the time of your visit will introduce themselves as well. And you can always ask the staff for help or ask us any questions you might have when you're here using the facility.